Good, and you?
Great, fantastic,
Awesome.
absolutely awesome.
Oh, really good. We just started. We started in Russia, and now moving back, like slowly moving back home. So we still have 1 week to go. So it's a pretty short tour. And, yeah, we've been in the US already. We've done a European tour. So all is going according to plan. Pretty good, actually. I mean, as a band, we're really proud still with this album. I think it's really a next level up for us, and I'm really proud about it. And for me personally, I couldn't have done it better, and we all kind of feel that way. And it's always kind of a gamble if you put it out there. You never know what the fans will say. But like critics were really good, all the reviews and all that, and the fans seem to love it. Also live, this is the world tour for that album, and so we play a good amount of new songs, and it seems like everyone heard the album already, or at least everyone at the show. And so yeah, I mean, I think the general tendency is that people like it. It's always been like that.
It's always been like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's true.
Yeah. How did it happen? How did it come
Well, you know,
about?
we just needed someone who could sing and who sounds like a child, and she happens to, because his wife Linda she's also featured on this album for backing vocals. She's been part of the Epica choir in the beginning and all that. So. She's a really good singer, and apparently she gave those genes to her daughter, and so also Kato, that's her name. She can sing pretty well, and so it was pretty much a one-taker, and she practiced at home and knew what to sing, because it's not in Dutch, so it's Latin, and she had to learn that, so she had no clue what she was singing, but she did. So that's really cool. Oh well, actually, she's also on the Quantum Enigma, the second last album, and well, basically, we already know her. Of course, we toured with Stream of Passion, and she's also. Because we changed the producer, Hans van den Broek is now producing the latest 2 albums he's done, and he really likes to work with her as a backing vocalist, and so for a lot of productions, whenever he needs someone, he will hit her up, and that's what happened, and he just asked us if that was okay, and she's a really great singer, so why not, you know, so that's how that happened. Well, Edge of the Blade was basically that the chorus, I already had it on the shelf for quite a while. I just recorded it, just only that piece. It's only 3 chords, so I had that. And it was also something like back in the days when Koen was doing his graduation at College of Music, I had another project with him and also with Yves, our old bass player. And I wrote 5 songs for that project. We never did anything with it afterwards. So I went through all these files, and then this part came up again. And so it's also like partially like the melody, I already had that, and then I worked with Yves in his home studio back in the days. And so we came up with that melody, like the shifting melody, like going up and down. And then basically I just took that one out, and a day later I had Edge of the Blade. It was a pretty easy song to write. Then what was the other one?
Universal Desperate.
That's a song like I already had written in 2010, and it didn't make it to the Requiem for the Indifferent album because first it was a plan to shift it to the Mayan project, which I didn't think was a good idea because I really thought it would be really good for Epica. So for the Quantum Enigma, I rearranged it, put it on the big pile again, and it was again pushed to the Mayan like creative box, and I had to get it out again, and then I rearranged it again for this album, and then finally it ended up on the album. And I mean, where the melodies come from, I don't know. I just like sit at home and I mostly started with guitars, and then I added up with like melodies, and then going back to the guitar riff, because sometimes you want a melody to do this or that, and then you have to change the guitars again. But I pretty much concentrate on groove and guitar riffs in the beginning, and then from there on I work a lot, like just see what I can come up with. So that's the story behind that song. And then Cosmic Algorithm is also a song I wrote pretty quickly, just a couple of days, I guess. And I basically wanted to have a mix between a Gojira riff and the Haunted riff. I love both bands, and so like the intro riff is basically those two bands mixed together, or how I think they should sound when they are mixed together, and then you put a whole lot of Epica sauce on top of that. And that's how I started the song, like with that riff, and it pretty much quickly all came along. And so also that song was pretty easy to write, and that's the story behind it.
Okay, great.
And there's like maybe I also wrote Beyond the Matrix, and that one I was stuck. You know, I had a couple of ideas, and so then I went for a walk with the dog. And I was like, oh, fuck this shit, you know, I can't get it to work, so I'll just go out with the dog. And then I was just walking there, and the whole melody popped in my mind just at once. So I got my phone and was singing having the dog, while the dog was taking a shit. And then basically I just ran back to my home studio, and then that pretty much came out.
Okay, you know, walking is the best.
And because that whole melody is pretty positive and happy and all that, I thought, you know, I need a big mid part to like make it more, to take it away from that and then going back. So the whole like kind of progressive or really wild mid part is just a counterbalance for a really happy melody. Because I'm a happy guy.
Oh yeah, we can see it. Yeah. It's clear.
Well, you know, for a band like us, it's already fun to do it, and also for management, it's always good to have some bonus stuff. And we had quite a lot of that because we started with like 27 songs in the beginning. But either way, we just wanted to do that again, and then you know, it's like usually you would maybe go for a ballad and you put it into an acoustic version, which is a ballad again, you know. So we wanted something completely different now. So we turned some of the more heavy songs, turned those into acoustic stuff, and then we had 2 days in the studio, like little kids on a playground, just having fun with whatever we had in our hands, and it was like percussion and guitars and backing vocals. Kun and Jost did backing vocals for that, and yeah, it was just good fun, and I think you can hear if you listen to it that it's just like, it's not meant to be really serious or something, but it's just but it's still fun to do. Yeah, we thought about that, but then again, I think we're in our hearts we're more metal musicians, or you know, you just like the metal show energy. And I think as long as we have inspiration, we just concentrate on making new albums, like metal albums, and maybe one day when we turn old and gray, which is now already, but then we can think of maybe calming down or doing theater shows with acoustic. And we sometimes do it like for little projects or something, or every now and then we have a small acoustic show, but So never say never, but at this point we have this new album, which is awesome, and we just want to promote that and play heavy fucking music. Oh well, that's an idea from Nuclear Blast. Like we have different versions of the album, like a digibook or a earbook or all that. So we've been doing that for a couple of albums already. Like you have a lot of fans who like sing along and put it on YouTube or whatnot, and so it's been going on for the last couple of albums already. That for the like big box of, if you have the whole stuff, the big like the ultimate bundle or however they call it, then it also has this instrumental album, which is just the album without the vocals.
Okay.
It's for every karaoke bar. Well, as far as artwork goes, like the cover, I think it's really important. You wanna, I mean, and maybe for other bands it isn't, but for us I think it's really important to kind of emphasize the message you wanna give to the people. So in our case, I think also the artwork is pretty different from what you might be used to if you buy metal albums. But it sticks out, and I think it's a really nice color grading and all that. And also the inside of the booklet is something we really focus on, and everything has to be right. And then videos, of course, they're important, but nowadays it's basically only YouTube. Back in the days you still had like support on TV's channels.
MTV was still okay.
Yeah, and in Holland you had TMF or Gym TV. You had a lot of channels, so it used to be more important, and these days you basically make them for YouTube, which is, you know, budgets are not that high and all that, so we still try to make it as good as possible, but it's not, we don't put that much focus onto that anymore. So that kind of changed. Well, it's not always the same how we do it, but he mostly comes up with an idea after we provided him with the lyrics and like a basic idea of what it's all about. And then, I mean, he's a creative person, so you kind of need to give him the least of information, so he still has an open mind. And so, for instance, for Quantum Enigma, it worked out really good. And then after he came with the initial idea, we just started brainstorming, and it became even better and all that, and a bigger picture and all that. And then for holographic principle, he also came with a couple of ideas which we didn't really like. So then in the end I just made a couple of examples, like maybe you should find something in this direction, and just made a quick sketch in Photoshop. And then he came up with this, and then some fine tuning and all that. But so it was different for every album, but he really knows how to do it, and he's just a really good artist. So, and a personal friend from Simone as well, and from the band, of course. But he lives really close to Simone, and so yeah, that's the reason why we keep working with him, because every album he also gets like better at what he's doing, and because he knows what we want by the years, you know. In the end, you just know what you can tell him, what you shouldn't tell him, what he knows, what we expect, and all that. So it's a good combination. Which doesn't mean like we're gonna work with him forever. But up until now, it's always been great, and I wouldn't know why to change now. So. Maybe, I mean, probably, but it's the same with the producer, you know. At a certain time, after 10 years of Epica, we were like, maybe we need to find like a different producer just to have some freshness, you know. You're always doing kind of the same thing, and the trick is not to do the same thing again every album, and so also now, as good as it feels to have Jules producing the new albums, maybe at some point we're like, okay, we kind of reached the level we wanted to reach, and then maybe it's time to move on again. I mean. Well, what is the essence of Epica? That's the first question. I mean, I don't know. You tell me.
It's hard to explain, you know? It's really hard.
It's always you know, artwork is something really personal. So, for instance, I'm really a big fan of simplicity, like less is more, so to speak. If you look at our artwork, it's quite the opposite. It's like there's a lot of detail, a lot of little things, and I also think it's cool. But if I would decide, I would just like, let's say, Black Album from Metallica just has this little snake on it, or Stabbing the Drama from Soilwork just has like this heart on it. So that's really like a catchy, more like a logo thing. And but then again, we're different people in the same band, so we have to kind of find a compromise. And the same goes with poster designs or T-shirt designs, all that, you know. And of course, you can only have one cover of an album, so you kind of need to put everything together. But I don't really know which artist I would like to work with, you know. I mean, I get it that if you look at all the covers, it kind of needs all those details because you want to have the message of the lyrics on the cover as well, or part of it. So I do get it, but it's not always what I would choose.
I understand. Okay, thank you very much for
No
your
worries.
time.